Hi, this is Wendy. Welcome to my channel and to the second part of the Peasant Doily crochet along. If you watched part 1, you'll have figured out how to make each of these wheels that make a circle around the doily. And I will start off by saying that I drastically underestimated how big this was going to be. So each of these completed wheels is about 5 inches across, and my circle of 14 is about 28 inches across. So this is not going to fit one of the hoops that I was thinking it would to hang it on the wall, but because I like the way it looks and because this crochet cotton is less than $4 a ball, I bought a second one and I'm just going to keep going, and I guess this will be a small tablecloth. So if you are working along with me and like I did, you used size 10 crochet cotton instead of the size 30 called for in the pattern, you may find that yours is large too. But that's part of the adventure, and I hope that you'll stick with me and we will complete this small tablecloth together. So as before, I've linked the pattern in the description. It's a free pattern online, and I encourage you to print it out if you don't have it beside you and follow along with me. So we've completed round 1 through 5 14 times and joined those 14 together into that circle. And the 15th one, it says to do rounds 1 through 5, and then round 6 is a little different. Instead of doing the final round that joins them together, it's a little different. So we're picking up right here below where it says doily center, round 6. So doily center, rounds 1 through 5, repeat rounds 1 through 5 of circle of wheels. So that's what I've done here. And then chain 5, work a 6 double treble cluster over the next 6 trebles, make in the same manner as the 5 double treble cluster. Okay. So a double treble is a triple wrap around the hook like we did earlier. But first I need to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And a double treble is once, twice, 3 times around the hook. Pull back 3 and leave 2 on the hook because we're making a cluster, so we leave the last pull through unworked. Do that a second time. Now there's 3 on the hook. Third time. Four times. Five times. And this one's different from the last one because instead of doing those 5 together in a cluster and doing chain stitches down the other side, it says to do a 6th one. Now I've got 2, 4, 6, 7 loops on the hook. I'm going to pick up 1 and pull it through all 7. That makes my 6 double treble cluster over the 6 trebles in this round. Chain 13. And the next instruction is to work a 7 double treble cluster over the next group of trebles, and then chain 13. And repeat that around. So it'll look like this one, except it'll have 7 double trebles instead of 6 plus the starting chain. So after my chain 13, I'm going to wrap 3 times around the hook, go into this first treble from the round before, and you can kind of see how I don't have them wrapped super tight, but also not so loose that it's going to make an extra long stitch. You do have to watch your tension with these multiple wrap stitches, that they come out looking tidy and not long and stretched out. Oops, see, I made a mistake there. I have to leave that last one on. So 2 on the hook. So wrap 3 times, pull 1 through the work, pick up, go through 2, go through 2, go through 2, and leave the last one. Wrap 3 times, go through the work and pull 1 back, pick 1 up and go through 2, pick 1 up, go through 2, pick 1 up, go through 2, leave the last one on the hook. And again, pulling through groups of 2 3 times, leaving the last one on the hook. Okay, so when I have done all 7 of my double trebles, I'll have 2, 4, 6, 8 loops on the hook, 1 from the chain, 7 from the double trebles. Pick 1 up, pull through all of those, then chain 13. The first chain holds the top of those together. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Then I'll do another cluster of 7 double trebles in the next one and all the following ones around, and I'll come back when I get to this last one. So at the end of this round 6, the instructions say to slip stitch in the top of the first chain. So I will go through, pick 1 up, and then pull that all the way through. Now we are on to round 7. Round 7 says chain 10, work a joined double treble. To make a joined double treble, thread over 3 times, insert hook at base of chain 10, thread over and work off 2 loops. That's a typo, I think. It should be loops, not LNS. At a time, hold last loop on hook, thread over 3 times. Insert hook in the next 4th chain stitch of previous round, thread over, work off 2 loops at a time, hold the last loop of the double treble on the hook. There are now 3 loops on the hook, thread over and pull through all loops at once. Chain 5, make, I think there's a word missing, make a joined double treble worked in the same stitch with the last joined double treble and the next 4th chain stitch of the previous round. That is a lot. We do need to end up with 42 joined double trebles at the end of this round. I tried this once already. The beauty of video editing is I can cut out the part where I messed it up the first time and just go on to benefiting from my mistakes, and you can too. So what I have done here is mark every 4th stitch around so that I don't mix up the count again. I ran out of stitch markers because we need 42 of them. So as you can see, I just added an assortment of paper clips. But I know now that I have 42 spaces marked all the way around, every 4 stitches. And as we go through this round, you'll see why that's important. Okay, so we're working on round 7 again. My first stitch marker is holding my starting thread here. I'll take that one off. We're just going to take it step by step, and it will make sense as we go. So round 7, chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Make a joined double treble. So we're going to go over 3 times, like it says on the pattern. Insert the hook at the base of the same chain 10. Pull through, go through 2, go through 2, go through 2. It's kind of twisted up here so it's hard to see, but I'm not going to do the last pull through. I'm going to leave it on the hook. Then I'm going to insert the hook after wrapping 3 times for the next treble in my first marked stitch here, which is 4 chains along the chain. Let's see if I can get my needle in there before I take the stitch marker out. Maybe not. Okay, just have to remember my place here. So 4 stitches down the chain. I am going to do another treble. So pull my thread back, pick up a thread and go through 2, go through 2, go through 2. Now I have 3 left on the hook, and I'm going to pick up a loop and go through all 3 of those. That's my joined double treble. It makes a triangle like that. Then the instructions say chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make another treble by wrapping it 3 times. We're going to put the hook in that same stitch as the last double treble. So after your chain 5, put it in that same one. Work off all but 2, wrap 3 times, and go to the next 4th stitch, which is my next marked spot here. Okay, so 4 more stitches around. Go through 2, 2, 2. I've got 3 left. Pick one up, go through all 3. There's my second little triangle. So this is going to make a series of triangles all the way around the wheel. And then we repeat, chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wrap 3 times. Go into the same one that we just did at the base there. So the base of all the triangles are touching. Go through 2 loops 3 times. Wrap 3 times again for our second double treble. That's going to be the second part of our joined double treble. Go into the next 4th chain. Work back through 3 pairs of 2. I'll take that off for a second. 3 left, pick one up, go through all 3. So now I've made 1, 2, 3 joined double trebles. And I'm just going to continue like that all the way around. Chain 5. wrap 3 times, insert it in the same as the previous double treble, work off 3 pairs, wrap 3 times, go to 4 stitches down the line that I've marked, go back 3 pairs and through the top 3. Okay, so I'm just going to do that all the way around, working 42 joined double trebles, these triangles, with a chain 5 in between each, and at the end I'll join in to the 5th chain of this chain 10 that I started with, and that will finish off this triangle. Okay, I'm not all the way around yet, but I just wanted to remind you that if you're getting confused, it could be that you're forgetting that after each chain 5, your first double treble goes in the same space as the previous one. It's tempting to jump to the next stitch marker, but first you go in the same space as the previous one, then wrap 3 times and go 4 stitches down the line. So if you're finding it doesn't look right, make sure that you're doing that where you're first putting it in the same spot as the previous one. Okay, so I'm almost at the end here. Don't forget with this last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you still need to go to the base of the previous one to make that final triangle. And then go to the 5th chain on your starting chain. When there are 2 threads left on the hook, pick up another one and pull all the way through the chain and the 2 that are left on the hook. So there is the row of 42 double treble 2 together all the way around the outside of the wheel. I think that was the most challenging round in this project so far. So if you have stuck with me, good for you. Give yourself a pat on the back for persevering. I think perseverance is the most important ingredient in becoming a proficient crocheter. You might be wondering why 42. Well, remember we have 14 of these wheels. Eventually this circle's going to get big enough that it joins up with these 14 wheels, and 42 divided by 14 is 3, so it divides evenly together. Okay, so now we are going on to round 8. Round 8 says chain 11, repeat round 7, increasing chain between joined double trebles, chain 6. Now that could probably be more specific, but I'm confident that what they're saying is we make a similar round as to what we just did, except we start with a chain of 11, and in between each of these double treble joined together, you do 6 chains instead of 5. So it looks like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then, like we did in the last round, loop around the hook 3 times to make a double treble. Go in to the base of that chain 11, go through 2, 2, and 2, leaving 2 on the hook, then chain 6, whoops, nope, not yet, we have to do the second double treble, go over 3 times, go into the top of the joined double treble from the previous round. Go through pairs of loops 3 times, 3 left on the hook, draw a loop through all 3. Now chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wrap 3 times, go into that same space that we did the double treble just now, draw up through 2, 3 times, leaving 2 on the hook, wrap 3 times, go to the top of the next triangle right there. So it's just like we did before, except using a chain 6 between each double treble joined together to make it a little bit bigger. However, this round is going to be easier because instead of counting, we just go into the top of each of these triangles all the way around. And then at the end, I'll join up to the 5th chain of this chain 11, and that will be the end of round 8. So I'll come back at the end of this round, and hopefully you will join me then. Now you might be thinking that I did round 8 incorrectly and that I was supposed to put the base of the joined double trebles every 4 stitches again, which would mean I'd have a lot more, but I don't think so. I think 42 is what we're supposed to get, because otherwise it would have said, you know, we need 60 or 50 or whatever at the end of round 8, but it doesn't. And it's laying pretty flat. I think if I went every 4 stitches, it would be too full. Anyway, this is what I am going to stick with for now. Hopefully we are on the right road. Round 9. Chain 7, treble at base of chain, and then there's a repeat. Chain 2, treble, chain 3, treble in next joined double treble. Repeat from the asterisk around. Slip stitch in the 4th stitch of the chain 7. So that's going to make some smaller triangles, I think. Okay, so chain 7. Treble in the base of the 7. So I'm tempted to do 3 yarn overs because I've been doing that all along, but a treble is just 2 yarn overs, not 3. So wrap the yarn twice, go to the base of that chain of 7 that I just did, and pull through 3 sets of 2 for a treble. Then chain 2, wrap twice, go to the top of the next joined double trebles, pick up a loop, go through 3 pairs of 2, and that's a treble. Chain 3, another treble. Whoops, almost did 3 again. 3 groups of 2, chain 2, wrap twice, make a treble. Oh, I'll try that again. Chain 3 in between the 2 trebles. Okay, so you can see I've got 3 little triangles sitting on top of these pairs of triangles, Each of these triangles has 3 chains in the middle and 2 chains between them. So I'm going to continue that sequence all the way around and then slip stitch into the 4th stitch of this starting chain 7. It will look better when it's blocked, but that's the end of round 9. Round 10. Slip stitch in each of the next 2 chain stitches, chain 7, triple at base of chain, and then a repeat. Chain 2, single crochet over next chain 2 loop, chain 2, treble, chain 3, treble, and the brackets mean that that happens all in one stitch. In center stitch of next chain 3 loop, repeat from the asterisk around, slip stitch in the 4th stitch of the chain 7. Okay. So I'm going back to the beginning of the instructions, slip stitch in the next 2. So going through, picking up a loop and going all the way back through. And again, pick up a loop, go all the way through. That puts me in the center of this little V here, the center stitch, chain 7. Triple in the base of that chain. Chain 2. Single crochet over the next chain 2 loop, chain 2. So single crochet over the chain 2 here. And by over, I'm assuming they mean around. Chain 2. Treble, chain 3, treble in the center stitch of the next chain 3 loop. So there's 3 chains in this loop. I want to go into the middle one. Oops, but I have to wrap twice first because I'm making a treble. Chain 3 and another treble in that same spot, that center chain of the 3. So that makes a little V like that. And then we repeat from the beginning of that repeat. Chain 2, single crochet around this chain 2 space, chain 2 again, make a treble in the middle stitch of the 3 chains, chain 3, and another treble. And one more time, chain 2. Single crochet around the chain 2 space, chain 2 again, wrap twice, treble on the center of the 3 chains, chain 3, another treble, okay, so it looks like that. I'm going to continue that sequence around with these little scallops, and you can see that the little triangle stacks on top of the triangle below it, and it's got a loop or a scallop around it. So I'm going to go all the way around and we will see how it looks at that point. Moving on to round 11. Slip stitch in each of the next 2 chain stitches, chain 7, treble at base of chain, chain 4, treble, chain 3, treble in next chain 3 loop, repeat from the asterisk around, and then slip in the 4th stitch of the chain 7. Okay. So the first instruction is to slip stitch in the first 2, and that just moves us over to the center of that little triangle like we did in the last round. Chain 7, treble in the base of that chain, so wrapping the needle twice, go back to the same spot and pull through 2, 3 times. Then the next instruction starts the repeat, chain 4, treble, chain 3, treble in the next chain 3 loop. Now it doesn't say in the center stitch of the next chain 3 loop like it did on round 10. So I don't think it really matters, but I'm just going to go into that loop and not worry about being in the center of that middle chain. Then chain 3, wrap twice, another treble in that loop. So it stacks a triangle on top of the previous triangle. That's the end of our repeat. So going back to the asterisk, chain 4, treble in the next chain 3 space, right? And these ones are both chain 2, so they mean this triangle here. Chain 3, and another treble. Chain 4, treble in the next chain 3 space, the next triangle. Chain 3 and treble. Okay, so another row of little triangles around the top. I'm going to do that all the way around and then join into the 4th chain of this chain 7, and that will be it for round 11. See you soon. So we're going to be going to round 12 now. I'm just looking ahead in the pattern. Round 18 is where we join the circle of wheels. And I am trying not to be nervous, but it's actually kind of risky thinking that we'll make this exactly the right size to fit the previously made circle of wheels. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to trust the process and maybe add in an extra row or take out a row if I have to. But we're going to assume that it's going to work. And round 12. Slip stitch in each of next 2 chain stitches, chain 7, so it starts the same as the previous 2 rounds. Treble at base of chain, chain 3, single crochet over next chain 4 loop of previous round, chain 3, treble, chain 3, treble, in brackets in the next chain loop. Now I think that has to be chain 3 loop. Repeat from the asterisk around, slip stitch in the 4th stitch of the chain 7. Starting out like the previous row, slip stitch 2 to the center of the first triangle, like so. Chain 7, treble at the base of that chain, chain 3, single crochet on the chain 4 space, so around this section of chain right here. Just going to go under it, pick up a loop, and then bring it around the front, pick up another loop, and go through those 2 to single crochet around the chain 4. I think it's going to make kind of a scallopy row similar to the one 2 rows ago. Chain 3, treble over the chain 3 space, chain 3, another treble. That's the end of the repeat, so we go back to the asterisk, chain 3, single crochet over the chain 4 from the row below, chain 3, and the treble, chain 3, treble again. Oops, that's going to be a double, gotta fix that. I think in a lot of ways crochet thread like this is trickier than yarn because it likes to wrap multiple times around your hook. Treble, chain 3, oops, and treble. So that's what the repeat looks like. A little scallop, like a triple triangle scallop over each triangle. So I'm going to continue all the way around and then fasten to the beginning of this chain again. I think that's looking really pretty. Round 13. Slip stitch in each of the next 2 chain stitches, chain 8, treble at base of chain. So a similar start, except we're chaining 8 instead of 7. Chain 4, treble, chain 4, treble. In next chain 3, repeat from asterisk around. Okay. I don't think they actually mean what they're saying there. This video is starting to sound like a Just Vintage Crochet video, which it wasn't intended to be, but I recommend you follow that channel if you like this, because there are a lot of errors and confusions in this pattern. What I think I'll do is I will retype this and make the corrected version available to my subscribers. I don't know exactly how to do that because I'm still pretty new to this whole YouTube thing, but most things are figure-outable. Here's the issue I'm having with this line. If I do treble, chain 4, treble in the next chain 3, all of these are chain 3s, and I don't think that it means for me to put a triangle in every one of these. I'm thinking it means just the middle one. So if I were to rewrite that, I would say in the next chain 3 that's between the trebles. Let's try that. Slip stitch to the middle of the triangle, chain 8, treble at the base of the chain, chain 4. So here's where we're starting the repeat. Chain 4, treble, chain 4, treble. chain 4, treble, chain 4, treble. I think that's what they meant. If I put one of those in every one of these, it would be way too many. I'm going to continue like this, and we will have a look at it at the end of the row. I think that looks right. That's the end of that round. We're going to go on to round 14, which looks a lot like round 12. Starts out the same, slip stitched by 2, chain 8, treble at the base of the chain, then chain 3, single crochet in next chain 4 loop, chain 3, treble, chain 4, treble in next chain 4 loop, repeating around. Now slipping 2 doesn't quite get us to the center because this was a 4, chain 4 space. Treble at the base of the chain. Then the next instruction is to start the repeat with a chain 3, single crochet into the next chain 4 space, which is right here between the 2 triangles. So like before in row 12, I'm just going to single crochet around that chain 4 space. Chain 3, treble, chain 4, treble. Another treble in that same triangle. And then chain 3 to match down the other side. Single crochet. Oh, I'm going to straighten things out here. Single crochet in that chain 4 space. And repeat. Chain 3, treble, chain 4, and treble. Chain 3, single crochet around the chain 4. Okay, so I'll just continue that sequence all the way around. It's getting too big to fit under my tripod, but you get the idea. So we are on to round 15. Slip stitch in each of the next 2, chain 9, treble at base of chain. And so it's very similar to round 13. Round 16 is very similar to round 14. And round 17, repeat round 15. So the next 3 are very similar to the 3 we just did. I think that I'm going to work those off camera, and then we'll see if we're ready for round 18, which is supposed to join to the circle of wheels. I'm a little concerned that it's not going to be big enough. But if it's not, I guess we will just work another series of 2 or even 4 rows in the same manner to make it large enough. So I'm going to work rounds 15, 16, and 17, and then I will come back and hopefully you'll work those along with me and we'll see where we're at. Okay, so if you've been trying this, you maybe found out that round 17 to repeat round 15 didn't really work because it's bigger, right? So you need more stitches in your repeat. So I had to modify that one by chaining 7 in between the little parts on top like this instead of 5. So I will include that change too in the modifications that I make to the pattern. And I also found, like I was concerned about, it wasn't big enough. So I actually added 3 more rows in order to make it big enough to fit the circle of wheels. And when I modify the pattern, I will include actually 4 extra rows. So depending on how your tension was and how big your center part was, if it doesn't line up with the space that's needed for the circle of wheels, then you can add any number of those 4 additional or supplementary rows to make it work. I will be posting my revised pattern in the community tab. So if you would like to get a copy of that, it will go out to all of my subscribers. And you can do it my way or just work from the video and use the original pattern from the internet. Okay, so we're moving on to round 18. This is the round in which the circle of wheels is joined to this center part. I had to make a small adjustment to that one too because I added 3 rounds. I actually ended up with one of these rounds with the triple loops at the top instead of the one which just had the single loop. So my modification will work with either of those. So whether you work 1, 2, 3, or 4 extra rows, my modification for round 18 will work. Okay, so let's give this a try. I'm going to start by slip stitching in each of the next 3 chains. Then I'm going to chain 11. Sorry, chain 9. I did 11 the first time and I didn't like it, so 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to move this over so you can see better. 8, 9, okay? So I chained 9. Then I'm going to go to my first wheel here. Start with this one. And I'm going to slip stitch into the first pedal or whatever of this wheel. Okay, so there's 3 in the middle of each. And I'm going to attach this to 3 of these edge bumps on the inside part. So I'm going to slip stitch into here, and I found through trial and error it works better if you insert your hook from the top rather than the bottom. Grab a loop and pull it through both. Okay. Then chain 5. Then I'm going to double crochet into the 4th stitch of this chain 9 that I did initially. And again, this will all be in my revised pattern if you want to try it. And then a treble into that same chain 5 space where I started. Okay, so it made a little join like that. Now I'm going to chain 10. Okay. I'm going to find the next chain 5 loop. One second, I just have to do some thread management here. Okay, so treble into the next chain 5 loop. This time I'm only going to chain 2 and then slip stitch into the next spoke of the wheel. Going through right at the end of it there and pulling through. Chain 2. Then treble into that same chain 5 space. There's the second spoke joined on. Chain 10 again. Treble into the next chain 5 loop. Chain 7, no, sorry, 5, 3, 4, 5. Go into the next spoke. Chain 5 to go back. This time I'm going to double crochet into the same spot where the treble joins the chain. So at the top of the treble. I'm going to double crochet into that and finish with a treble in the same chain 5 space. So there's my first wheel attached to the 3 parts of the out of the 42 that are on my center part. Now I'm going to move on to the next wheel, chain 10 again. Treble into the next chain 5 loop. Chain 5, go to the first spoke in the next wheel and slip stitch that on. Double crochet where the treble joined the chain. So at the top of the treble, and then do another treble into that chain 5 space. Chain 10. Treble into the top of the next chain 5 space. Chain 2. So the reason we only do 2 for this middle one is because it's round and it sits a little closer to the doily. So find that end point. This is fiddly, takes some patience. Chain 2 back again and another treble into that chain 5 space. Chain 10 again. treble into the next chain 5 space. Chain 5, go to the third spoke on that wheel and slip stitch through the end of it. Chain 5, double crochet at the top of the treble, and then another treble into the chain 5 space. Okay, I realize this is maybe a little hard to see, so we're going to step back and have a look. Okay. So here we go. This first one, I did a chain 9, chain 5 back, double crochet to the 4th, treble into this first loop. Chain 10, treble into the loop, then chain 2 and chain 2 back, another treble into the loop. Chain 10, treble into the loop, chain 5, slip stitch, chain 5 back, double crochet into the top of the treble, and then double crochet back into the loop again. And then we're going to repeat this for the 2 outside ones and the center ones all the way around. And then I'll make sure that it all looks good, and I will come back and show you the finished product. There's my doily all finished. Though at almost 32 inches across, I'm not sure it qualifies as a doily. It's more like a small tablecloth. I'm undecided as to whether I'd like to finish around the outside edges with the additional rows in the pattern. I think it would look really nice. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that and drop me a comment. Again, look for the revised pattern in the community tab. It will be available to subscribers soon. I hope you enjoyed this project and would like to try it for yourself. Like and subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see. Have a super day, and thanks for watching.